Hello. Welcome back to Good Germs Off-Road Adventures, and welcome back to the Stryker toy hauler. We're chasing down an electrical gremlin, an issue, if you will, with the inverter slash generator power in this here thing. We were out camping very recently, a couple weeks ago, and the inverter, no, those are not the right words. Everything was working fine. But then, at some point, I lost 110 power, and the transfer switch that's built into the toy hauler was not wanting to engage for the side of the 110 power that comes from either the inverter or the generator. It just wanted to click and just kind of pop on and off every 20 seconds or so. Which, if you know these transfer switches, when you go over to that power source that's usually known as the priority power source, it usually has a delay of about 20 seconds to make sure it has good power coming in before it clicks over. It wasn't staying clicked over. It was just, and that was it. Didn't really have time to troubleshoot it much out there. Unburied it. That was about it. So I think first I'm going to kind of show you what it's doing under inverter power. Sorry for the dark. I don't have lights on in this room where the inverter switch is. Turn that on. Beep. We get a thunk from that transfer switch there. And then we're going to come up here and I'm going to stick the camera inside there so you can see what it does. Yeah, I've already dug it out. That particular contact, that is the contact that we're expecting to stick down, and you can see it didn't stick down. It just doesn't work. So what I did is I tested the volts coming into that side on the inverter power, and we should see 115 to 120-ish volts constant. It's not. And I know that the inverter is not the issue. And I'll explain that in a minute as well. One leg, it shows it'll bounce around a bit and then it'll finally settle at like 119 volts. And then on the other leg, it takes longer to settle and it doesn't really fully settle. I'll show you what it's doing here. Let me set the camera up in a way that you can see the voltmeter, and I got to get down in here so I can put the probes. It's not easy because I have to support the panel with my leg, which means I gotta cross my legs. Still dealing with a back issue. And anyway, why is my ankle hurt all of a sudden? Ow. Okay, I think that'll do. Let me move the panel out of the way. I tell you, it's rough getting old. Anyway, let's see if I can set this up in a way that you can see what's going on. That's all right. I already know what it does. All right, so quite simply, I'm going to take the negative probe and put it on common, and then I'm going to put the positive probe on one of the hot sides. And see, we're settling at 119-ish volts. Move it to the other side. This side is also settling to some volts. Well, this is not the result I had yesterday. The result I had yesterday was it was not settling, which is interesting. So now I'm wondering, what's my issue? Okay. So that's on inverter power. You can see it looks like I have plenty of power. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the front, turn the inverter off, and I'm going to kick this over to generator so we can see that it's not the inverter. The inverter is putting out enough power. I'm kind of leaning towards an issue with this particular transfer switch, mainly because I'm getting good volts out of both sides. Okay, now let me get up and go switch this over to generator power and turn that inverter off. Okay, now I'm going to come back down here, do the same test. We have the generator running. It should be putting out all of the power that it needs to put out, and you can see we're still not switching over here. So once again, I'm going to do the same test. Put my black probe on the common and my red probe on one of the hots, and well, now I'm seeing 118.4 pretty steady. Switch it to the other hot, 118.4. So this looks like we're getting good volts, but yet our switch is not engaging here. And every time it does, look at that volt change and drop. Look at that. This is what I was seeing yesterday. Why is it? And this is coming into the transfer switch. Let me go turn off the generator before something melts somewhere. So you see the dilemma. The volts coming in seem okay. Why is the switch not engaging? I really don't know. A couple of things to check. One that we're going to go check first right now is we're going to go check the inverter and the transfer switch that are installed in the storage compartment. And I'll be honest, I'm not exactly looking forward to it, mainly because of where they are. Now, of course, I'm the one that made the decision to put them there, but where they are is all the way in the back in there. Look, I really don't want to be digging in there. I got to crawl all the way up in there to get back there to it. But I've been needing to clean out that storage compartment for quite some time. It's a bit dirty. It's a bit of a mess. So I'm thinking this is an opportunity to go ahead and clean it out. And then we'll crawl back in there. I'm just going to catch up to you once I've got it all cleaned out and I'm inside there, because well, it's going to take me a minute, and I don't think y'all want to watch me just digging stuff out of my storage compartment. Okay. Your eyes don't deceive you. I'm actually sideways. I'm laying down in the storage compartment down here. You know, this is where the inverter and all that live. So here's the inverter here. And there's the transfer switch that I have installed. So what I'm going to have, well, let me set this camera down. Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to have my wife do is go ahead and click on the generator. That's this contact up here. And then we'll do some voltage testing down here. I have already checked all the connections. They're all tight, so that's good. All right, go ahead and turn on the generator, please. So, unfortunately, the voltmeter is not in a place where you can see it. So, generator comes in here. 118.5. 118.5. You can see the contactor is sunk in like it's supposed to do. So now we should be outputting roughly the same. 118.5. And 118.5, exactly. So both hots off the generator, good. Coming off the contactor, looks good. But we know it's not really working. The other thing you notice, you see that green light on that board back there? That's the timer. It's working and doing what it's supposed to do. So there you go. Okay, go ahead and turn it off.
Right here.
Oh, shit, you scared me. Go ahead and turn it off. Okay.
I came over here because I didn't think I'd be able to hear you over there.
Oh, no worries. So I've got the wife helping me, which is fantastic. So now I'm going to turn the inverter on. I can do that from in here. There's another switch. I don't have to go inside. And we should see this do the thing. There we go. Beep. And there we go. Now this one does not run off the timer because priority is generator side. And now we're going to check volts here. So first we're going to check volts coming from the inverter. And we have 118.9 on that side. And this side should be the same because it's sharing the sides. Oddly 119.6, which is a little weird, but it's just got a jumper. That's fine. Okay, now we're going to check the output side. Actually, let's check it up here. This is what's going to the coach up here. So 119.3. This should be the same. It is. And you can probably hear in the background that other transfer switch is just doing what it's been doing. But this one, I thought we were going to find an issue here based on what I tested yesterday, but this one seems solid. So let's go ahead and turn this off. So now that we've determined that everything under here looks good, and I've taken everything out and unburied it for no reason. Well, I've cleaned it out, so that's good enough reason. I'm gonna put the cover back on this switch, and then we'll go back inside the trailer and see what more we can troubleshoot from in there. All right, so I managed to get myself outside that storage compartment. Let me tell you, it's not easy getting out. Getting in's not too bad, but getting out's not fun. Well, what are you doing, kitty cat? We got the cat a catio that he can go in and out of, and he's out here watching me, and he's been meowing. Say hello to the people. Yeah, no, all right, that's fine. Anyway, it's worth noting that I did test the transfer switch on the inside of the toy hauler there to check the shore power, so when you plug it in to, say, an RV park or whatever, wherever you go. And that side works perfectly, no issues. So what I'm wondering is, what is causing it not to function properly? So there's a couple of things it could be. Now that we've determined that we're getting good power into the coach, either from the generator or the inverter, they both seem to work fine. Either the contact is bad, you know, the actual switch, the contactor, or that little timer delay thing is bad. I'm not exactly sure how to test that, but I have a theory on how to test it. So you notice on the other one, we were under there, and you could have your good vision of everything. A little green light on that little timer board came on, and that's when it tells the thing to engage, and it was fine. This one here, that light beeps or blinks. I don't know if you saw that when we were showing it to you earlier. That light would come on, the contactor would engage, the light would go off. So, in my mind, a good way to test that little board would be to hold that contactor down manually, and I'll use a screwdriver or something to do that, so I don't have any risk of electric shock. I don't need any shocking experiences. And then we'll see if that contactor will stay shut or if it will, hold on, I said that wrong. We'll hold the contactor closed and we'll see if that light on the timer stays on. My theory is if that light stays on, then maybe the contactor's bad. But if the light turns back off, then maybe that timer's bad and it's not working. So that's my theory on how I'm going to troubleshoot it. But first, what I need to do is get myself back down in position. So just a moment. Okay, so I'm in here, and if you watch, the board is right there. There'll be a little light that'll pop on and off. So you can see that's not working. So I'm going to push this contactor closed, which now powered the trailer. But what I want to see is if that timer will come on and stay on. See, it just kind of flashed, and I could feel it pulsing. So I don't know if that timer's the issue or if this contactor's the issue. There might be a way to find out. If I can get that board out, there is a jumper that you can jump that kind of bypasses it. And that might help us to determine it. I don't know. The trouble is, you see how this thing is mounted in there. It's not great, you know. Meaning, I mean, it's mounted fine, but it's hard to get to. I've got all these wires. Of course, the panel's laying in my lap because that's a good idea. But all the wires for the entire coach, 110 and 12, are all in here. These are all 12 volt. These are 12 volt. Obviously, this is all 110, but I've had to remove the heater ducts, there's one there, and then there's one there. I had to push them out of the way just to get access in here. And now, can I even get enough access in there to do what I need to do? All right, so I was able to get the timer board out. Now, this timer board can be replaced. It's about $30. The whole transfer switch is much more than that. But it has a thing on there that says to bypass delay, short H1 or H2. So right there is kind of what I'm talking about. Is it focusing on that? Can it focus on that? I don't know. So I'm wondering, that's 2 pins right there. Can I short those together and plug it back in just to see what happens? I don't know. I also don't know how I'm going to short that. It's not like I have a jumper that fits that. I suppose I could put some kind of a tiny little clamp on it, plug it back in, and just kind of lay it in there. I don't need to mount it back in. Thankfully, this just clips in, so it was much easier to get out than I thought. I mean, if there's an issue, we can very quickly shut the system down. I'm not too worried about it. I just don't want to replace the whole transfer switch if I don't have to. If it's just an issue with this board, I'd rather replace just the board. But anyway, let me see if I can short that, and that'll just bypass the timer, which means it should just come on, in my mind. So let's see if I can find something to short that with. Okay, so I have, in a way, shorted that jumper, and we're just going to kind of see what happens. In my mind, the worst thing that can happen is nothing. And still not working. So, kind of thinking the switch is dead. Which means I'm going to have to replace the whole switch. And I don't want to. Groovy. Okay. Well, I was able to get the transfer switch out. It was not easy, let me tell you. There's just, no room, and it was screwed to the floor. There's sawdust down there from when they built the place. I'm going to probably vacuum that out before we put it back together. But there's just no room to work in here. But there's the transfer switch. Now I honestly don't really know what my next steps are. I don't know if I'm just going to automatically go ahead and replace this transfer switch, or if I'm going to figure out ways to test it. I don't know. I don't know how you test these things. Maybe I'll pull more direct power into that one side. Ooh, almost fell over. Into that one side and see if that contact will stay down. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how you test these things properly, so I don't really know what my next steps are. But whatever they are, I'll make sure I include y'all. Hey folks, well, we're back. We didn't really go anywhere, but it's a short time later. But I've got the old transfer switch here on the bench, and I've hooked up a bit of a test jumper so I can show you what it's doing when it has good power. So we just got done testing, you know, the inverter itself and the generator. That switch seems to be working just fine, getting plenty of the volts that we need to activate this particular transfer switch that is in the difficult place in the trailer. Anyway, I've got a bit of a test lead hooked up to it so I can show you we have good power and we can show you what it's doing. So you can see I've got my test lead here. We've got it wired in. Wiring is pretty simple. You know, your green goes to the ground. You've got your neutral going to the neutral, and then your two hots. Now, because this is not a 50 amp circuit we're tying into, we just double that up or split it off and put it into the two hots, and that is just fine. So now we're going to go ahead and plug this in, and you can see a little bit more clearly what's going on. Of course, we have to wait for the timer delay, which is that little board down there. And then once that thing decides to go, we'll see this thing do the thing it's not supposed to do. While we wait, talk amongst yourselves. And there you go. That's exactly the same thing it was doing inside of the toy hauler. And it'll keep doing this, and we can watch it. It'll do it again. More of the same. Now, I would go ahead and test, put a voltmeter on this, but we already know we're getting here like 121 volts. Excuse me, I don't want to drop this cord anywhere. We're getting like 121 volts to both legs consistently. We're plugged into regular electricity, and that's what we get. So what I've done is I ordered a new transfer switch. Now, this transfer switch that came out of the trailer is made by Progressive Dynamics, part number PD52. Sure. It's just rated 240 volts AC, 50 amp, 70 amp neutral. It's pretty common. It's probably what you're going to see in most RVs of this type, is this pretty much this transfer switch. Go on the Progressive Dynamics website. You can actually order the little timer board, but we don't know that that's what's wrong with this. There's no real good way to test it unless you have another one that's good and you can put it in, and we're not going to do any of that. So went ahead and ordered a new one. Progressive Dynamics website, they want you to know that there are plenty of phonies out there that have the same part number of PD52, and they're right, there are, but they warn you not to get an imitation. So we did exactly that. We got an imitation that has the same part number, model PD52, not made by Progressive Dynamics, and it's less than half the price. Probably comes from the same place in the world, but you know, they're warning you to stay clear of the ones that are not theirs. Well, clearly theirs are failing, so why would I go back and get another one of theirs instead of getting one that's cheaper? And, you know, if I have the same issue, I'm out way less money. But anyway, here's the new one. See? PD52, automatic transfer switch, 240 volt AC, 50 amp, 70 amp neutral. There's the Progressive Dynamics one. Okay, and this one is shut. You can see the design is identical. Why is that tight? All right, well, we'll get a screwdriver and we'll open that up. What did I do with my screwdriver? I had one out. Did I not? Did I not put it away? Oh, I'm looking in the wrong place. I'm an idiot. Okay. Okay. Put them both the same way. Here's the progressive dynamics with my lead hooked to it. And here's the new one that is a fake progressive dynamics. Other than this white sticker here, they're exactly the same. The only difference is these lugs are a little different and that screw is a little different. Other than that, they're identical. And I have already tested this here on the bench with the same lead. It works perfectly. So now we're just gonna go take the new one back in the trailer and install it. All right, back in the trailer. And we've got some work to do before we can put this in, and let me show you. You can see, I mean, it mounts there on the floor. We've got a ton of wires here. They're just a mess in the way. The wires that go into the transfer switch are all here. This is, of course, regular shore power. This one here is from the generator inverter. They go in the same place, which is nice. But all of this wires, it's going to make a mess. It's going to be messy. But also notice there's a lot of just sawdust down in here from the construction of the trailer. You know, they build these things, but they don't take care to clean up their own messes. So I brought the little shop vac in. I'm going to vacuum all that up, do my best to get all of this wiring kind of zip tied, kind of up here and out of the way a little bit, at least temporarily, maybe permanently. We'll see. The other thing that I've discovered is when I was troubleshooting and taking the old unit out, the lid, every time I would pull the lid out, every now and then, not every time, but every now and then I would get a spark, even though there's no power going to it. Well, what I discovered is that, let's see if I angle this down right here, this is my switch for the solar panel, so I can disconnect them from the solar controller, the charge controller, and they're bare. And this is 12 volt hot. That's why it's red there. Well, actually, this is direct from the panel, so it's actually closer to 20 volt hot. And the box is frame grounded, so if I happen to touch one of these lugs with that lid, little spark. Not a good thing. So I'm going to actually, in prepping all of this, I'm going to put some electrical tape over these, lugs right here. That way I just don't run into that issue again, because I can't really stop the power from coming in unless I just disconnect this, and I really don't want to do that. I have no reason why I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it, so I'm not gonna. Okay, I've got this box, I think, prepped good enough to go ahead and get this in, show you what I'm on about. So I've got these kind of zip tied up here for now. Like I said, that might be temporary, might be permanent. I don't really know. I might have to move it. It should be enough. I've got maybe enough gap to kind of shove the box down in here. Of course, I've got all the big wires here. I have to move those temporarily, but this should be good to go. Most of the sawdust is now vacuumed up, which is fantastic. So now I'm just going to go ahead and install the thing. Now I don't think I can really show as I'm installing it, just because I can't get half of my head in there, both hands, the box, tools, and all of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to show you kind of how it went after I've done that. Okay, I've got the box 95% installed, and it's time to test. But real quick, let me get in there and show you the reinstallation a bit. So you can see we've got the new box in. I've got one mounting screw down. I need to put the second one down, but it goes in the back corner. If I can't reach it, I'll put it in the front corner. It'll be fine. You can see here's our regular shore power, our generator alternator power, and then our output that goes to the panel. You can see the all of the commons are in the middle where they go. As far as the hot 1 and hot 2, the red and the black, it really doesn't matter which one goes on which side. We've got all of our frame grounds, or just grounds, hooked up, but we're going to go ahead and test it after I fix that particular lug right there. And I'm going to test first on shore power, which is that one, going to be that one back there, and then we'll test this side. All right, got that wire shoved in, and actually it was shoved in all the way. Those wires were just cut a little bit longer than the rest, and I actually remember that when I took it out. I took the old one out, but they're in all the way. So first, I'm going to come over here and actually plug the trailer back into the wall of the shop here. and we should hear, if we listen carefully, a thunk. So I'm gonna kind of aim this way with my microphone. I heard a thunk, I heard a microwave beep. Let's go inside and see that we have power, or if we have power. We're also going to be looking for smoke, sparks, fire, all those things. Real quick, the microwave is on. I can see it's got a red light. That's good. That's a good start. And if we look in here, just heard the microwave beep because I didn't set the time. This connector, which is the generator side, is not sunk down, but that one is, and that's the shore power side. So fantastic. What I'm going to do is go outside and actually shut off or unplug the trailer again, because then we're going to test it with the other things. Now obviously, if I start the generator, it should click over, or if I turn the inverter on again, it'll click over. I'm going to go ahead and just unplug the thing. Everything in there looked good. I'll probably hear a thunk from in the trailer. Let's see. No, didn't hear a thunk. That's okay. Okay. And now I've got a switch up here in the front storage area that is a disconnect for the inverter. Let me turn that on. Otherwise the inverter is not going to do inverter things. Okay. There we go. Hook that back up. Lovely. Okay. Back in the trailer. We're going to come back to the bedroom or forward to the bedroom, whichever way you want to call it. And we're just going to click the inverter on. And we should hear a thunk in here, and then I'll go back and see if we hear a thunk back there. Thunk. And let's go up here and see that we get the same. Talk amongst yourselves while we wait for it. Perfect. We have power, microwaves on. You can see that thing is sunk down. That is exactly what we're hoping to see. Very, very good. So now we're going to go start the generator. I'm going to turn the inverter off so this clicks off, and then we'll start the generator and then wait for it to click back on once more again. But in the meantime, so far, so good. Okay, inverter off. All the clicks have happened, and generator on. Now it takes this switch a little bit of time to switch over, which is fine. We'll wait for it. It's the same thing, time delay. Same thing here. Just heard it. Let's come back to this transfer switch and we'll watch it. And we should get the same exact result. Perfect. Outstanding. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a voltmeter and come back inside and meter the voltages. Okay, we've got our voltmeter there. Let's turn the light on so we can see it. There we go. And actually, let me set this on tripod real easy here. There we go. And first I'm going to measure the voltage coming from the generator. We're going to put the black lead on the common and the red lead on hot 1. 119 volts. Put it on hot 2. 119.1 volts. This is perfect. Let's check the output. We're going to do the same thing. 119.1. Sorry. And 119.1. This is absolutely perfect. Now, since we're running on generator power, we're going to test the air conditioners, which means I got to lower the beds. Remember, we have 2 air conditioners, so I have to lower the beds so the rear air conditioner can breathe, because right now, if you look behind me, that top bunk is stuffed way up in there. So I've got to pull the pins and lower it. Ow. I just hit my head. It's okay. Put these pins here. Let's get these beds lowered. Do I need to lower them all the way? No. That's good enough. All right, let's turn on the front air conditioner. 76, that's fine. We should hear that thing come on. And it's right above us there. And then the rear air conditioner, we'll set it to the same. And I just want to make sure, okay, that one is kicked on. This one's kicking on, the compressors are kicking on. I just want to make sure that the switch is good under load. Because, you know, running both air conditioners, that's a good bit of load. Yeah. There we go. Both air conditioners, compressors are running. The switch is not hiccuping. I've got air blowing out of the vent. It's not cold yet because it just now kicked on. Oh, it's already starting to cool off. Very nice. Yeah. Very good. Well, that makes me happy. So I'm going to go ahead and button up, you know, the thing down there. I don't think we need to test the other side that runs on shore power too much. It's fine, I'm sure. Yeah, we're getting good cold air. These vents are all tied together, so no matter where you find air, you're going to find the same air. You know. Let's check in the bedroom. Oh yeah, very good. Okay, like I just said, let me get that box buttoned up and I'll catch back up with you. Okay folks, pretty well got this thing back together, and let me show you. So we've got everything put back in here. I actually got the heater furnace vents put back. Look, this was really dumb on the part of the manufacturer of the trailer. Just the way they put this together and mounted these things, horrible. Horrible, but can't really change it much. But there we are, all put back together. Obviously I don't have the panel back on. Look, that's easy. You just kind of screw it back in place in that giant hole where it goes. Listen, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. We have fixed an issue by replacing a thing. Maybe you found it entertaining. Maybe you learned something. Who knows? But thank you for being here. I guess that'll do it. There's another reason I didn't put the panel back in. It's because I've got another thing to do, and that'll be in a next or upcoming video here soon. But in the meantime, y'all ride safe and camp safe. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye now.